All right, so lesson 4. So, as a recap, general standard form, the way we write this is y is equal to a x squared plus bx plus c, right? And a is the number up front, and then b was like the coefficient, right? And then c was our y-intercept, right? And those are just numbers that are put in there. Okay, 20-1, we don't talk much about it being like in factored form, but every time you factor it, it is in factored form, right? So the way that looks would be y is equal to x minus r, and then x minus s, where r and s are just numbers, right? That's just when you factor it, it's just written in that form. Okay? Let's back up a step. Our general form, what was this one good for? What would you say that was a good reason to have it in that form? What can you see quite easily from that form? You can see the y-intercept pretty easily. So you can say that's good for y-intercept. All right, this was my. What was this one good for? The factored form. This was good for finding what? Why do we factor these questions? We're looking for x, right? So this is a good form for an x-intercept. All right, now this might be. I'm thinking you guys can probably line read this one. I'll show you what vertex form is here for a second. So vertex form will be y is equal to a x minus h squared plus k. That's what our vertex form is going to be. Anyone want to take a stab at what vertex form will probably be good for finding? It's good for finding a vertex, right? So this one is going to be good for vertex. All right, so then what am I looking at here? A would be a number, right? Just a coefficient. H is just a number, and K is just a number, right? And I'll show you where these go in the next part here. So in the question, they've said A is equal to 8, right? And it says the vertex is at -2, 4. All right, so I'm just going to write the vertex form again. So it'd be y is equal to a x minus h squared plus k. All right. It's told us in the question that a is equal to 8. I'm just going to write an 8 there instead. And then the x stays, right? That's part of my equation, so it's going to be x. And then here's the thing. The h and the k relate to these two numbers. The h is going to be this value, and the k is going to be that value, right? So the h is the one that's related to our x, and the k is related to our y value in that form. The only little twist here is the x value. You see how it's -2 there? Well, if I put -2 in place of h, what would this look like now? It would end up being +2, right? So x plus 2 squared, and then this is a +4, so this would be +4.
How do you know which one to do?
The x one goes with the x one, like here, right? So the x, this is the x value right there, right? So this will be the one that determines the x, and then the k value will be the y. Yeah. It's that straightforward. You plug it in like that, right? So then, looking at this, just you have to be careful when you were if a question gave you like this form, a vertex form, it gave you that and said what's the vertex. You just have to remember though that this so the vertex would be it's the opposite of what the sign is there, right? So if it's +2 in the equation, it would actually be -2, 4. Right? So that's just the only little tricky thing there. Is make sure you know the x is like the opposite sign of what?
Only the x.
Only the x. The y is the way it looks, and the x is the opposite. Okay. Okay. So, oh, by the way, your a value on this one, we talked about this in the last one. Your a value is still going to determine whether, so if it opens up or opens down. So this one being +8, right, on this question. Would that open up or would that open down? It would open up. It's a happy face, right? So it follows the same thing as the other ones do. Yeah, okay. So then number 2 would be very similar. I'll let you guys fill that one in because it's very similar. Okay, this is a good one though. Determine the characteristics of this function algebraically. All right, so we've been given an equation in vertex form, right? So vertex form, and I need to find all my characteristics. What would be a good characteristic to just find right with that? The vertex. It's right in that form, right? I can just say right away, v. So the vertex will be at what? What's the x value? It's a -1 in the equation, so it'll be. So it's going to be 1, 8, right? That'd be my vertex. And if I wanted to now, I could say my axis of symmetry, right? Axis of symmetry would be x is equal to, that's the x value, right? It would be equal to 1. Okay, so I found those things pretty good. Now I need to find my x-intercepts and my y-intercept, right? So can I just say, well, okay, right here, 8, right? Is that my y-intercept? It's in the wrong form. I can't do that, right? If it was written in this form, you could do that. It would just be the number hanging off the end. It's not that way with vertex form, right? This 8 was actually the y-coordinate of a vertex. That's not, can't be, it won't be both. Or I guess it could be in a couple situations, but so what we need to do here, well, a couple of things. I could just throw 0 in for x, right? And figure out what I get for y, right? Because if I'm looking for my y-intercept, right? Let's say this thing opens down and, I don't know, maybe it's like up like that or something, right? If I'm looking for where it crosses the y-axis, well, x is equal to 0 at that point. So I could just throw 0 into there. And let's do that. This won't be too bad, right? Let's figure out what it'll be. So we'll say y is equal to -2, comma, and then I'm going to throw a 0, 0 minus -1 squared plus 8. Okay, so y is equal to -2 times, this is -1 squared, right? What is -1 squared? Just +1 now, right? So this is just 1 plus 8. Okay, so -2 plus 8 is 6. All right, so our x-intercept, or sorry, our y-intercept, we can say that now if we wanted to, our y-intercept should be at 0, 6. We know that. But now we got to do a little bit more algebra here. And we got 6 minutes. Okay, we need this into a different form. So what we're going to do is we need to transform this guy, right, this vertex form, into standard form. And then from standard form into factored form. And it's like there's two things we need to do here. So if I'm going to change it into standard form, what I need to do, and I'll do it over here. So say y is equal to -2 x minus 1 squared plus 8. I just need to expand everything and collect like terms. Okay? So if I'm going to expand this, it's going to be y is equal to -2. And when I square something, I need to actually write it twice. You guys are all right with that? Okay. So now, written this way, what I'm going to do is I'm going to distribute that -1 into that one first. Or sorry, -2 into that one first, yeah. So we'll say y is equal to -2x. -2 times -1 is +2. And then in brackets. Okay, so that's that part of it, right? -2x plus 2. And then I've still got x minus 1, and then the plus 8 still hanging out over there. All right, just stick with me till the end here, okay? Now what do I do? I got those brackets I got to get rid of, right? I got to distribute all of it. I got to do the whole FOIL thing. So we're going to have y is equal to -2x squared plus 2x, right? Plus 2x plus 2x and then minus 2. And then there's still that plus 8 on the end.
So that'd be
Negative 2x squared. Those would combine to be plus 4x. And then this will become plus 6. Hey, that worked out nice, right? Plus 6. That's what we said our y-intercept was, right? So that makes sense. We should have got that. Okay, now we need to put this in the factored form. So that really just means factor. Okay, so I've got all the same, like 2 goes into all of these, right? So my first step is I'm going to factor out a negative 2. So we're going to say negative 2, start my bracket. And now I'm left with x squared minus 2x minus 3. Now I just need to factor this part, so I'm going to put my brackets down. They both get an x. So I need numbers that multiply to 3 and add to 2.
so
3 and 1 are the only ones that would, right? And then negative 3, so this one's got to be negative and this one's got to be positive. So my x-intercepts would be x is equal to negative 1 and x is equal to 3. Phew. All right, so our x-intercepts would be at negative 1 comma 0 and 3 comma 0. Okay, and we can sketch it out too, but I think we'll be all right. So for domain and range, so our domain, x is a member of the real numbers. Our range, all right, what would our range be, guys?
the range would be at no loss. Has to be greater than 9 equal to no 0.
This should be the number you guys are looking at. Right, so just sketch this out here quickly. That's what I find for the range is the best thing to do here, just sketch it out quickly. We just drew something that opens down and has a vertex at 1 comma 8. And then passes through negative 1 and 3. So it like came up here and then came down. And this was at 1 comma 8. All right, so y has to be always below this point, right? So x has to be lower than, what's the better way to say that now? Less than or equal to 8. All right, so yeah, 20-1 and 20-2, you guys are expected to be able to do those types of questions. So tomorrow,